I won't be making the trouser. I already have a lot of trouser illustration on my channel, so but I'll just go ahead to make the top because I found out a lot of people have making this top. Okay, so this top is in two parts, the front and the back, and then the flounce at the edges of the fabric. Now the front part is going to be cut on 180-degree flare, while the back part is going to be cut on 360-degree flare. Now if you can't cut directly on pattern, you can cut directly on your fabric. So today I'll be cutting directly on fabric just to show you how it is done. But people are finding it difficult getting pattern paper. If you don't have access to the full size, life size pattern paper in the market, go ahead to buy the normal pattern paper and keep joining it until you get your full length. Right now, if you don't have money to access the full length of pattern paper, then you can go ahead to buy get newspaper. Go to newspaper stands and look for old newspapers, or look for your uncles, your daddies, collect their newspaper. Keep joining it until you get your full part. But if you are going into the ready to wear business in a big way and you need pattern paper, where I am now, I can't lay my hand on my patterns. Okay, I would have shown you, but this is the material that is used to make patterns. All right, for us, because you can have like 30-50 patterns, different sizes in your place, and you can keep them for like 100 years as long as you don't break it. It doesn't even break. This material doesn't break. So this is the material used for pattern. So whenever you want to cut any style, just bring it, put it on top of your fabric, and you start cutting. So you don't have to start measuring and all that. So to cut the front part, we are going to cut the front pattern. The front pattern is going to be cut on bias. Now this is how to place your fabric on bias. So you keep your fabric straight the way you bought it. Keep it straight. Then you pick one edge of the fabric, fold it till it comes this way. Okay, and then you iron. So that it stays. Now for a fabric that is not stretching, if you place it straight this way, it won't be stretching. But if you place it like so, it will stretch. Okay, so that's why most times for anything that has to do with curve, bias is the best. Now we are going to place it like so, so we can be marking out. We're going to talk about our shoulder. For me, the measurement I'm going to be using, my shoulder is 8 inches. But remember that this is a boo-boo top, a butterfly top, right? So I will measure my shoulder 8 inches, and the length of my sleeve is going to be 20, let's say 23 on the whole, but the flounce is going to take 4 inches. So 23 minus 4 is 19. So the length of my sleeve is 19. So 19 plus 8 inches, which is my shoulder measurement. Do you understand? 19 is only for the sleeve. Now plus 8 inches, that is 27. So whatever I'm going to be measuring here is going to be 27. So that is what will affect where your marking is going to start from. Do you understand? Now when you want to mark, so you keep checking, where will 27 enter here? It did not enter. Where will 27 enter here? It did not enter. You keep checking till where 27 entered. But me, I'm using a mini measurement. So this is where my 27 entered. Okay? This is where my 27 entered. So I will mark here. Carry your tape. Put it like so. Wherever this triangle ended. You see this triangle? I don't know if the camera is picking it. But so this edge, this triangle, that's where you are going to place. That's where you are going to, this triangle, this edge, that's where you are going to place your tape. Now we place it like this and you measure. So I have 13. So let me just say 13 and a half. Do you understand? So that 13 and a half, you will mark it. And then another 13 and a half here, you will mark it here. So that is where your blouse is going to come from. Start from. Do you understand? So that your fabric will be placed straight. Now I will start marking. Now I want to get my full length for the blouse, and I want it to be around the hip area. My hip, shoulder to hip, is 25. I will place my measurement here and I will mark 25. For me, this is my 25 because I'm using mini measurement. All I need to do is, I told you we must always come down by 2 inches for shoulder slanting, okay? And I will have something like this. Measure 3 inches here, and this is my 3 inches. So I will have something like this. Can you see? Now my sleeve opening is going to be 12 inches, okay? And this is my sleeve opening right here. Do you understand? So I'm going to curve out from here, curve it out from here, curve it out from here, and curve it out from here to this 12 inch. But it's allowed to make mistake. You can still also trim it out. Can you see? And this is practically your front pattern. Remember that the back pattern is going to be cut on full flare. Remember, we didn't come down for the front neckline. I'll tell you why. Now, I will mark from here to get my bust line, and when I measured, I will measure my bust line is 10 inches. So from here to here, this place is 10 inches. So I'm going to be marking 10 inches here. I will rule the line 10 inches. Now I'm going to measure my bust divided by 4, okay, plus an extra 2 inches. I will mark it here. So this is where I will stitch from. So you can as well just stitch like 5 inch, it depends on you. Stitch 5 inch just for this place to close, so that as your hand is moving, your bust side will not be showing, your body will not be showing. So stitch, even if you like, let it be 4 inches, let it be 5 inches, however you want. Just rule the line. Okay, and that's all. So you will mark it because this is where you are going to be stitching. Do you understand? Now if you open up like so, can you see? This is my shoulder. If you open up like so, you will have something like this. Okay, it's already forming. You will have something like this. Now there's something about this top. Remember that it is what? A collar top. Now leave that aside first. Let's go and cut our back. Okay, we come to cutting the back. Okay, so now the back, you can actually cut in 180 degree, but then you have to add to it so that it will be full. So but if you observe, the back is fuller than the front. So for us to get that back, we are going to cut it on 360 degrees. But there's a kind of 360 degrees we are going to be cutting. Now if you cut normal 3 degrees, if you cut normal 3 degrees, I actually use this method because I wanted to show something. Now you know that a 360 degrees is a full flare, right? Now if you cut it like so, you won't be able, maybe this thing I want to tell you now is, maybe when you practice it on your own, you will observe it, you won't be able to make one side longer, okay? or if you know a way of making one side longer, you let us know, because the truth of the matter is that the back is going to be longer than the front, right? So we want to plot it. So there's a way I used when I made mine, and it came out very beautiful. Now this is my front pattern, which we cut on, what did I say, on 180-degree flame. Okay, so we are going to measure this sleeve. We are going to measure this sleeve, and what we got from this sleeve, if you remember very well, was 27. This sleeve was 27. So we want to cut a 360 degrees flare while standing. Do you understand? Now we got it to be 27. Now we are going to measure 27 here. Okay, and we're going to measure 27. And this is the 27 we got. Okay, now from this 27 we will now measure the length of the top, and the length of the top we got is what? 25. And we measure our 25 right here. Do you understand? We measure our 25 right here. Now remember that this is the length of the sleeve, the 27 we measured. So this is supposed to be our armhole. Do you understand? This is like so now. So this is supposed to be our armhole. We'll now measure our armhole here, and I want my armhole to be what? To be 12 inches, and that is what we measure here. Now I'm going to form a circle here all round to this place. Do you understand? And to guide our hand, I will measure another of my sleeve here, which is 27. So it doesn't really now have to be a perfect circle, but it has to be a circle. So now I will have something moving from here like so. Moving from here like so. Can you see? Okay, and I will connect it here. So if you have enough fabric, make sure you make it full circle. But if you do not have, now leave it at here. Now remember that I said that our top for the back is going to be longer. So I'm going to be coming down by 5 inch. Can you see? I'm going to be coming down by 5 inch, and then I will connect it nicely to this one. Okay, you can actually cut this straight on your fabric with that pattern, and then we are going to cut out. Can you see the shape we have? Now I will now tear from here. I will tear from here like so. So this is now that our shoulder plus sleeve. Do you understand? So if you open it up now, it's going to look like so. Can you see? Even without it has formed. Can you see what we have? So we have our 360-degree flare in a different form, and the reason I made it this way is so I can be able to have this full length dragging. So this is now my blouse. This is the back pattern. Can you see the back pattern? Can you see how the back pattern is? Can you see the full flare? Can you see it? Now this is now the front. and the back is longer. Can you see? So this is the shoulder and the slit. Okay, so why I say this top is very simple is that this is all about it. Now the only thing remaining is for you to cut your collar and add here. Cut a facing and turn this one. This is the lapel of your front shirt. Cut a facing and turn it. Then make this place ready for your button, and that is basically all. The next thing remaining for me is to cut a facing for this place. I will use a facing to turn these parts, all these parts. I will use a facing. Of course, you know how to cut a facing. Just place it flat on a table. Okay, so cut it flat on a table. Okay, and cut exactly this fabric straight down, and you use it to bend it. That is all. Do the same thing you have done for this one, and that is all. Okay, now we are going to cut out our collar, and that collar is going to run through from here to the back pattern that we already cut to this side and down to this place. Fix your collar. Now after fixing your collar, let me show you what else you are going to do. After fixing your collar, remember where we marked. You are going to be stitching front and back here, so it will have shape, it will have fitting, and then everything will just fall like so. Everything will just fall like so, and that is just all. That's all this style is about. Everything will just fall. Now the remaining thing for you to do is now to fix your flounce around this area. Fix your flounce around this area, and that is basically it. If you want to know how it was cut, continue. How it was joined, continue watching and I'll show you.